Ladies and gentlemen, Le Bonheur. And our ninja strings. Now, normally, we have a super special guest doing the traditional "Twas the Night Before Christmas," and last night we had the legendary, amazing, my fairy godmother Darcel was here, and tonight we were supposed to have Gert Boyle. I know, but she lives in a place where like actually there's serious fucking ice. She's at a higher elevation and she's 93. And by the way, do you guys know who Gert Boyle is? She's like the president, yeah. CEO, founder of Columbia Sportswear, one tough mother. She's fucking for real, for real. Real quick, since she's not here, I get to tell stories about Gert. She's a super powerful woman in this town, a super powerful woman in America in terms of businesswoman. She's no nonsense, no bullshit, hardcore motherfucker. She got kidnapped at her house. Right, she was probably 87 years old, maybe older than that. But she was pulling into her house and these fucking guys were waiting for her and had guns and they were just like, open the door, whatever. Like they jumped her at the driveway, and they said, "Let us in." And she's an older woman, and they're like, "Let us in." And so she unlocks the door, and they're like, "Where's the jewelry?" And she's like, "Well, there's jewelry and there's some cash upstairs, but if I don't do the alarm, the cops are gonna show up." And they're like, "Do the alarm." And so she fucking goes to the keypad, guns drawn on her, and she calls the cops, and right in front of them. And she's like, "Oh, this will turn it off." And they're like, "Okay." She takes him upstairs, and she's like, "I don't know, here's some earrings." And then, woo! The cops are like, yeah, they're like super fast, and they're like Columbia Sportswear cops. So they have like knives on their feet, and they're fucking like, they've been climbing mountains, and they got bear blood all over them, and they're like, oh, they ate the guys. No, they didn't eat the guys. But she's a badass. She's a fucking badass. And when I first started playing with Pink Martini, I love playing with Pink Martini. But if you guys are here and you've never seen my band and you've only seen Pink Martini, I'm really sorry. It's different. It's different. It's different. But I love Pink Martini and I love Thomas. I love China. But they're definitely a more kind of buttoned up operation in terms of presentation, in terms of, because like for the first 2 years that I played, I've been with them for 5 years, but the first 2 years, Thomas, God bless him, every now and then he'd walk by me and be like, PG-13. 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 13. And so we did a big fundraiser for the Oregon Symphony one year, and early on in my career with Pink Martini. And afterwards, Thomas said, "Okay, we're gonna have after party with these very important people, these important women from Portland, and they raise a lot of money for the orchestra, and so really seriously PG-13, really, 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 really keep it clean and really be cool with these people, and I know you can do it." I was like, I can do it. I can do it. So Gert Boyle is one of these women, and there's these very powerful business women and moneyed women, and they're sponsors of the arts, and they're patrons, and they're incredible women, and doing a lot for the arts community, arts education. And Gert Boyle is one of those women, and she's sitting there, and I had just performed with Pink Martini, and it's a very polite conversation, and they're saying, "Well, that was just a great concert, and really, we really enjoyed it." And Gert Boyle sitting there, she goes, "Well, I was disappointed." And Thomas goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Why?" "I wanted to hear the vagina song." She's literally looking at me like this. My heart, you know that scene in The Grinch when the Grinch's heart is like, and it breaks through metal, and it becomes huge. I'm like trying to fucking keep my shit together. I'm like, and Heart's like, ah! And Thomas goes, oh, and I said, you know, Ms. Boyle, I do that song with my band, with the symphony sometimes, but with Pink Martini, it's a different, you know, it's not my band, I'm just sort of singing, you know, it's just, it's, you know, you'll get to hear it one time. She goes, oh, well, wait till you get to be my age and you hear the vagina my song sings. And Thomas, I thought, was gonna have a baby. He's like, oh, God! And I was just like, I get up and I sit with her, I'm like, will you be my mom? Will you be my mom? And we held hands and drank, and I'm like, fuck! I fucking love you forever. Forever. Gert Boyle is an amazing human being, and God bless her. And I'm so sorry she's not here tonight. I am a sad, sorry imitation. So I'm gonna do the honor of reading "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." As dorky as it is, I want you guys just to really pay attention to what this brings up for you, because it really is the magic of the season, and suspending reality and believing in magic and hope and keeping a youthful spirit in your heart, because we have to believe in the best of ourselves, and we have to believe in the best of people that we don't know. Even though we've seen evidence to the contrary over and over again, we have to believe in the best in people we don't know. "'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Donner, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. And as I drew in my hand and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, and his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. And a wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread.
He spoke not a word, went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, and then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, as he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." I love that shit. I love that. I want Holcomb Waller to come back out and join